But I think if you bring better tools, at the end everybody win, and you develop more services and you sell new services, and I think overall it's good for Luxembourg for sure.
Today I have the pleasure to welcome in the studio Luc Falempin from Tokeny. Welcome.
Thank you for having me today.
It's a pleasure. So I've interviewed several times Luc, who is a leader in anything related to tokenization. You can relate to my past interviews if you want to see what the company is doing. What we're going to focus on today is the evolution. So let's start with the first question. How is Tokeny evolving, and what has changed in the last 24 months?
24 months, wow. We are a scale-up, a startup, so 24 months, it's ages for us. A lot of things happened. The team grew, the client base grew as well.
How many people?
Today we have 40 people exactly, yes. So in different continents, different regions. And mostly we sign different type of clients and partners. So it's not only the small players anymore, now it's also large financial institutions.
Okay, so maybe for those who don't follow things with enough detail, how exactly do you tokenize the activity of financial institutions?
So what we tokenize is securities mostly. So before we tokenize, you need to have your securities. It needs to exist. Your asset needs to exist, or your securities needs to exist.
So it can be a fund, it can be anything.
Yes, we tokenize a bit of everything: funds, equities, debt, commodities, image rights, cash as well. So really everything with our compliance framework. So most of the time we tokenize a legal entity, an SPV or a fund, and we basically create a token, a digital representation of the shares of the fund. So that we digitize the cap table directly on the blockchain.
And what is the added value for the financial institution and for the end investor?
So it's another infrastructure which is much more efficient. Everything is digital. The whole experience is digital for the asset servicer and for the end investors. So it's real time. There is way less intermediaries when you do operations and transactions. And also you can encode compliance rules. So everything is built in, digital, so it's very easy to service, to administrate, and also to transfer.
Yeah, and I think one of the big focus of Tokeny is compliance. You're really bringing the compliance complexity into this digital world. And when we met 2 years ago, I think there was still a lot of buzz at Loft. Any bank or any big four wanted to be associated with companies like Tokeny, but there was a lot of buzz. Where are we today? Do you sign deals and partnerships with those companies, or how is this working?
So for years, banks, financial institutions are experimenting with this technology, right? I think we were strong believers that blockchain technology are networks, so should be open, should be decentralized to be really relevant. Of course, coming from the angles from financial institutions, it's different. They prefer to permission everything, to experiment. So many of them lost a lot of time and money to experiment on their own silos, recreating new silo, a different technology, but enclosed blockchain environment.
And did they do with startups like yours, or were they just picking ideas and trying to make it by themselves?
So we are trying to make it by themselves and working with large consulting firms and development companies, so trying to make it internally. Now it has evolved. The different blockchain networks and blockchain technologies have evolved. Now it's much easier to launch a private blockchain that you can open step by step, or also to use the public blockchains out there, which are already there, which are cost efficient, very fast, decentralized. So that's where we come in mostly, because we can bring control and compliance on these public networks. So now why you want to rebuild the whole network? Just use a network. If you are not happy with this one, you can switch, migrate to another one in 5 minutes. So you're not dependent anymore on these blockchain networks. And what we bring on top is a set of smart contracts and software to control what you do on these networks, to control your financial assets, and who can touch them, who can do anything with them on this decentralized network.
Yeah, and BlackRock, I think, did a really good favor for your industry, because they basically said that the future is all about tokenization. So
Yes.
if we look into 5 or 10 years, what does this mean? I'm going to be able to just buy a fund just like I buy a bedroom for Barcelona tomorrow? Or how do you envision the future?
So in 10 years, I don't know, but in 50 years, for sure, a lot of things will be tokenized.
In
a lot
50?
of things valuable. Yes, like for example, you will go to the restaurant and you will be able to invest in this restaurant. But we are not there yet. In the next 5-10 years, what will happen is at first the pipes for open-ended funds for listed products will change and will be more and more based on blockchain technologies. So I'm not sure for the end users it will change that much. It will just be a bit more efficient, a bit less costly, but these instruments are already liquid and already accessible. So maybe just changing the pipes for all the servicers and to make it better. However, for private markets, alternative funds, for example,
Liquids, yes.
it is very hard today to find these opportunities, to invest in these opportunities. You have no liquidity. You cannot do much with these assets in terms of collateralization, things like this. So all of this will become digital based on blockchain technologies, tokenized. And therefore, it will be easier to invest in these alternative assets and to leverage the value of these assets to do a lot of different things. So basically,
the difference between liquid and illiquid will blur almost.
Definitely, because we will bring an infrastructure to private markets, where today it's Excel and paper mostly. For public instruments, you already have an infrastructure, but it's in silos and everybody is doing the same operations all over again. So it will be better on public markets, and it will be much better for private market because finally it will be digital.
Okay, I'll be able to buy, to invest 1,000 euro in a little bit of real estate or wherever.
It will be much easier indeed to fractionalize, as we say. And what will come as well, which is very interesting, it's customization. So you will be able to create portfolios of a lot of different assets programmatically. So you can even define, I want funds, I want Europe, I want real estate, rated AA plus, whatever, and automatically it can do the allocation to all of the funds you need.
Okay, very good. What are the consequences that you anticipate for the traditional finance? I mean, based on what you say, we're going to need less TA, less people doing the back office or daily reconciliation. How do you see the Luxembourg funds industry evolving?
I think it will evolve fast, and I think it's a great thing. What we avoid indeed is data reconciliation. But today, data reconciliation is not done in Luxembourg. It's sent in India or in other places where you have a lot of people typing things and making mistakes and correcting, etc.
Some of them do it, but I think there's still a lot of this which is in Luxembourg.
You still have a lot of manual entries and control and things like this in Luxembourg. But I think if you bring better tools, at the end everybody wins, and you develop more services and you sell new services, and I think overall it's good for Luxembourg for sure.
So moving from back office to middle office, and then of course we all talk about the front office, but there's some progress to be made for that.
Basically focusing on the added value for the end clients and not on all of the small operations you need for compliance and for all the paperwork you need just to make it work. If we talk about KYC, everybody is redoing the same thing.
True.
Literally.
Yeah,
so now we just streamline all of these processes, for example, for the identification of investors, just to make sure that people don't lose their time. At the end, it's the end service for the user.
It's a really good example because we're now in 2024, and I have to say it's really hard to believe how hard it is still to open a bank account. It's never been harder. To do a KYC, I've done it recently several times. I can't believe I cannot do it at one place like iHub, for example.
Yes.
Belongs to Post, so it's a very robust player. I should be able to do it there. I mean, even okay to pay for the service.
Yep.
And then I would like this to be given to all my counterparts, and we're not there yet.
No, but we have the technology to do things like this. Because, for example, we can add the iHub proof of KYC to your on-chain identity, which is a smart contract representing you on the blockchain. And therefore, every time you want to buy or sell an asset, you can check automatically if you're eligible or not for this asset. Nobody needs to do anything, it's automatic. So just one example. So basically what we do with tokenization, it's really digitization, but on many aspects and on a different infrastructure. So there are many ways to improve the financial industry with blockchain, and that's probably why it's a bit confusing for many players. Is where we start.
Exactly, there's a lot of work. A last question, and I think it's important to notice that Tokeny is bringing a lot of new clients to Luxembourg.
Yes.
You told me that you're talking with financial institutions who have funds all over the world and who come to Luxembourg for the first time specifically to start their tokenization activity by creating, for example, an SPV or something like this. So
yes.
How can Luxembourg basically help a company like Tokeny grow?
I think we have most of the things we need already, like a good regulation, a good regulator, all of the right service providers. Everybody is aware of tokenization and how it works. And when we bring clients to Luxembourg, why we bring them in Luxembourg is because we know that here they can launch their product and their tokenized product very quickly. We discuss with a lot of asset owners or financial institutions, and they're like, okay, where can we tokenize? And because it's tokenized, they think they cannot do it everywhere. So we say, okay, Luxembourg is a great place for securities. It's a great place for tokenization. So we can introduce you to the right partners in Luxembourg, and in 2-3 months you have the whole thing set up with control cost. We'll tokenize it, and voila.
But how can you be helped by I'm thinking Loft, Luxembourg for Finance, Lux Innovation, SNCI. How can these guys help you grow? What do you need basically? Do you need new investors? Do you need new clients? Do you need a lunch with a CEO from a big bank? What do you need?
Yes, all of this could help, but I think it's important to promote Luxembourg properly. Last year, I was in the US. It was a moment where the SEC was blocking everything, and everybody was saying it's awful in the US. We cannot do anything. Okay, in Europe it's great. MiCA is coming, etc. The right regulation. Europe is great. Okay, so do you want to come in Europe? No, we're going to Dubai.
Okay.
Why? Just because it looks less old school, maybe, or more futurist, or whatever. So it's just marketing. Creating financial product in Dubai today is not that easy. In Luxembourg, it's much more straightforward. We have much more advanced regulations for this, to tokenize it as well. So Luxembourg is factually a better place for securities and for tokenization right now today. But nobody think about it. So very large players think about it because they know and their UCITS are there and etc. But all of the others, they have no clue. So we need a bit more promotion, a bit more education, some different initiatives saying you can come in Luxembourg and you can tokenize in Luxembourg. Last year we published a paper actually saying this with a few large law firms, with a Loft, etc. to say Luxembourg is the epicenter for tokenization. It worked very well. Now every time we have someone who doesn't really know, we push the paper. Look, everybody agrees that if you follow these guidelines, you can do it, and it's very easy for us to bring clients in Luxembourg because it's good.
Perfect. So to wrap it up, we've seen rapid progress on the tokenization industry. We hope that you will continue to grow out of Luxembourg. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Jérôme.